So this is a piece of macadamia. A year ago, almost to the day, I turned the other half of this and I made a natural edge bowl out of it. This one had a little different shape underneath, so it's going to be about 8 by 8 and it's about 4 1/4 thick. And I'm going to turn this as a regular bowl. Lately I've been turning a lot of things that are way out of balance, and I'm going to treat myself to a simple shape with a beautiful piece of wood. So right now I'm going to get the corners trimmed off, get a hole in there for a worm screw, and I'll be back and we'll have it mounted in the lathe. Alright, I got the corners cut off. I didn't bother to make it totally round. And I've got it on the worm screw. I'm going to move the tailstock up for a while. Probably don't need it, but it's heavy wood. It's really hard wood. I'm establishing a center point there. And I'm turning 720 right now. And I think that's going to be fine just to rough it down a little bit, and I'll bet you we'll get lots of RPMs this time. That's going to be a joy. The pieces I've been turning, I'm happy to get 500 RPMs. Okay, let me get a freshly sharpened 5/8 bowl gouge, face shield. Alright, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and flatten this top and cut the tenon down to size, and we'll sand this and then get it flipped around. That should be enough for that. Yep, that looks good. Sand it in reverse at about 300, maybe about 380. We'll get that all sanded up, and then we'll come back and do the inside. Well, it's the next morning. I didn't turn my heater on. It's a little chilly, but I think we're just going to go ahead and turn the inside of this one. I think it's really going to be pretty. I've got 1,000 RPMs, and if I push it up to 1,200, it's much smoother. Boy, that is some tough wood. I keep cutting here. It's fine right now with that crack. I want to go down about 1/2 inch more and have a look at it. Alright, it's back in the lathe. I've poured some CA glue in there. We're going to cut away, and I don't expect it to be totally filled, but I just put it on there for some additional strength. Back up to about 750 RPMs. So I've set this to leave a 1/2 inch bottom, and right now, looking straight across here, I'd say I have 3/4, maybe slightly less. I like to use this little hollowing tool, and I'll go in and cut a little bit of the center out, and then I'll keep checking it until I am at the depth I'm looking for. Okay, let's go back to the same 5/8 bowl gouge and trim that away. Alright, that should do it. So I'm going to take it back out and try to fill this in, because I don't mind some cracks, but that's the kind I don't like all that well. So we're going to work on that. I'm going to go ahead and use the negative rake scraper now. I patched the cracks with CA glue and some of the fine sawdust. We'll clean this up, and hopefully it doesn't need any more. But if it does, we can do it. It's time to sand it. I'll start out with 80 grit, work my way up to 400 or 500, and then I'll be back to get the finish on it. So that's pretty dusty wood. I'm going to get my dust collector going and finish the sanding. I have this all sanded to 1200 grit, and I'm going to use finish. I'm going to turn this really slow. We'll let that dry, and I guess we'll sand it and get a few more coats on. Alright, I've sanded that, hit it with Scotch-Brite. I'll put another coat on. I had my overhead air filter running just to pull the fumes away from me. So let's put another one on. That's starting to build up pretty good. Okay, I'll be back shortly and maybe we'll have 2 more coats on after this. Well, this last coat sat all night long and it's very shiny. I see little streaks in there, which I expected, and that's why I'm going to use my abrasive paste. Got it all spread around. We're going to start out around 400. Well, that's worked in there pretty good. I'm going to switch to a dry portion of this paper towel. And I'm going to speed it up to about 600 maybe. For the first time of using CA glue on anything this big, I'm pretty happy with it. Now it's time to remove the tenon. Okay, we're going to remove the tenon now. Got a block in my chuck and some of the non-slip material. Bring the tailstock up. See how it runs. It's running pretty true. Okay, let's start with a 1/2-inch bowl gouge and we'll cut this away. Now this is really hard wood. It doesn't really have any kind of a grain pattern other than just random going every different directions. The wood was very hard here as well, and it was kind of a slow process removing the tenon, so I sort of zipped through it a little bit. I heard something crumble. Yeah. Okay. You hear a noise like that, you don't want to go any farther. We'll get that sanded up. And we did it. So this is the macadamia bowl, and it was made from a log that I bought from somebody who had brought the piece from Hawaii. I ended up buying it from him along with a lot of other burls and really nice wood, and I have to thank my wife for spotting his garage sale ad talking about turning stock. So anyways, this bowl is 8 inches in diameter and it's 3 inches tall and it's 4 inches at the base. And I put a finish on it that I have never done before. I used CA glue. The grain's not porous, it didn't really need filled in, but I wanted to make as glassy smooth a finish as I could, hoping that that grain would just pop out of there. I ended up putting about 4 coats on it, and it feels like glass. And macadamia is a very interesting wood. It's kind of got a what I call snake skin. There, you can see it pretty good right there. And when you get over here, there, you can see these. They look like light rays coming down, maybe off a star. Very unusual. There was a rather large crack you saw me dealing with in the video, and I filled it with the sawdust from this turning and CA glue. And then when I put the finish on it, it blended it all in. You cannot even feel that there was a crack there. If you didn't look for it, you wouldn't know. So that's it. It's a simple shape with really unusual grain. I think it's spectacular, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And a special thanks to all my subscribers. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new to my channel and you feel so inclined, please consider subscribing. Thanks again, and until the next time, I'll see you later.